Hello, everybody. It's Max with Crypto Talk now. Quant seems to be the definitive leader when it comes to being the operating system for the new financial system. So, what exactly am I referring to? Well, without further ado, let's jump right into it. So, for instance, you see this statement right here, and it makes a lot of sense when you actually think about it. So, it goes on to mention the world is currently experiencing a digital revolution. There is no doubt that digital assets are here to stay, and global leaders and banks are exploring a blockchain solution. We literally see it going on daily. But, like it mentions here, the legacy financial system is in dire need of an overhaul. I couldn't agree more. One that increases speed, efficiency, and interoperability. Again, when you think of quant, the definitive definition of what quant is all about is interoperability. Below, we will dive into the current development of central bank digital currencies and how Quant's overledger technology is an integral component for the rollout of the new financial system. Now, I will give a shout out again to Drunk Monk. He's been killing it with great Quant updates, and I love this statement. He states, Quant is creating the new financial system for Web3, and the utility Quant brings will bring it to a multi-trillion-dollar asset in 2 to 3 years. And with a world crisis coming and happening, it could be sooner that we see a utility bull run for Quant. Of course, I would never root for us going into another world crisis, but let's face it, in these crazy times that we live in, that could be a reality. But the whole idea that 2 to 3 years, that's not a bad outlook. You know of anything where, even back in the old days, like 80s and 90s and so on, of, saving up year after year after year, investing into your Roth IRA to earn a decent amount of, money on your investment over the process of, let's say, 40 years compared to what it is in crypto. It's just, that's why a lot of people get into crypto. You will not see these insane amount of yields, to say the least. That also said, check this out. I like this, and shout out to Crypto Prixis. States Quant is the best investment in the whole market right now and years to come. Again, I couldn't agree more. And I like this outline that we see here. A lot of times people ask me, they say, Max, what exactly is the token overview? Like, what exactly is the utility all about? Can you break it down a little bit more? Well, here is a great visual. Over here, we have, for instance, the enterprise licenses. We talked about briefly before in other videos, but I like this. It says Quant tokens must be provided to Quant Network in exchange for an annual license. Price of the access will be fixed in fiat, and the number of tokens needed will vary depending on the price of Quant. Enterprise license fees will be determined on the basis of the number of users, the number of employees, application type, volume of transactions. You kind of get the idea. But again, when you think of the likes of Quant, refer to what? The circulating supply. And, it's just that. I mean, that is a very appealing circulating supply. And of course, we'll get into that part here in a little bit as well. On top of that, where it says developer licenses, developers will be able to obtain an annual license to develop applications on the Overledger through the purchase of Quant tokens equivalent to a fixed fiat amount. The developer wallet will be used to access the platform for the license period, as well as develop, sign, and publish applications. Quant licenses are locked for 12 months. When it comes to platform fees, that was something that we didn't cover quite a bit, but I thought I'd go ahead and mention that. Because in addition to the license fees, a platform fee calculated as a percentage of the license fee in Quant will be payable by all users and developers. This part where it says identity and account, a minimum Quant holding amount is put in place for every participant of the Overledger ecosystem. The wallet storing Quant is your identity. The private key is your password, and with the license fee, you are assigned a BPI key. Some of it sounds technical, but it's actually very simple and to the point. And you love the sense of security. Now, while it seems like I'm reading all this, I actually am this time. Because, why not cover it? This is broken down in a way that's just so incredibly easy to understand. So, another thing that I've been DM'd about is like, well, what about the transaction? Well, how about this? Transaction processing. Quant tokens are used to validate, sign, and encrypt every transaction that flows through Overledger. Every enterprise client, developer, user, and application validates each transaction using their quant link to their ID and account. No transaction can flow through Overledger without being securely validated by quant tokens. And it says application use. Users will need to hold quant tokens to be able to run multi-chain applications, aka MApps. The license key will expire annually and must be renewed with more quant tokens. Users will need to deposit an amount of quant that will be used to pay fees to gateways or processing. Users also deposit quant tokens to cover the cost of any penalties raising incorrect disputes. Again, the use case, and then to a sense haven't like recycled, if you will. It makes complete sense. It's creating that supply, that demand, and using that utility where everything just flows really nicely. And let's face it, that's really simple to understand. At least to me it is. Top of that, gateways and staking. To run a gateway, there is an annual fee fixed in fiat to be paid in quant tokens. Again, to be paid in quant tokens. So much emphasis on the actual token supply. Additional quant tokens can be staked to increase the capacity of the gateway. The more the gateway operates stakes in the variable deposit, the more requests they can accept, resulting in more quant earned. How cool is that? I like that. Investment in store of value. The content is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, like it mentions, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. A utility token is directly correlated with its demand. As we know, supply and demand is what controls all of it. With more use cases for a token, the higher the demand and value becomes, of course. On top of that, I like this before we start closing things out. It says, without payments, your coins are irrelevant. Think about that for a second. I'm not bashing on any project for the most part, but, for me personally, I will say it once, I'll say it again. I'm so done with the puppy dog news because they don't have real solid utility. It's always that vision in the, foreseeable future, and then that gets delayed or, something happens. I don't quite get that. So without payments, your coins are irrelevant. Yes, absolutely. Who is the leader in payments again? And so, for instance, like it says, payments is the WMD of crypto, weapons of mass destruction of crypto. Listen to what he has to say. And I'm going to actually full screen this for the most part. And here we go.
Probably hundreds of use cases that people are considering applying this technology to. But one of the things that we noticed is that at the root of most of these blockchains is a payment. So if it's trade finance, when the trade is financed, there's going to be a payment. If it's security, the security is going to be purchased, there's going to be a payment. If it's lending, when the funds are borrowed, they're delivered, there's going to be a payment. If it's a smart contract, it's managing someone's money, there's going to be payments. So what we observed is that the main problem at the root of all of these use cases is payments. Good payments make all of these use cases easier. Bad payments make all of these use cases harder.
All right. What I liked about that is, it's just right to the point, to say the least, right? So we covered all of what you see here for the most part, except for this. This will actually be the second to last of the segment. But again, shout out, of course, to Drunk Monk, absolutely killing it with some of these quick snippets and points and so on. Follow me, follow him on Twitter. If you follow Quant, he's at Drunk Monk 21. He only has 375 followers. So, if anything, if you follow him and you post, you can tell him I sent you. So he says, just wait till trillions actually flow through Quant, and all institutions for Web3 and banking are using it every day. Well, we do see the whole path forward for the central banks and so on when it comes to Quant. But me personally, I feel like more emphasis should be on Web3 as well. Maybe even in the same breath, if you will, same light, if you will, when it comes to uh, you know being mentioned with banking, because Web3 is going to be absolutely huge for Quant. So like it says, for Web3 and banking are using it every day. Yeah, absolutely. Now watch this. This part is pretty cool. So it says, I guess the other way is bigger. Sorry about that. It says show the price of A with the market cap of B. So select A. Quant 96.53. It did drop below 100, and we'll get to that in a second. It says, or select B. Bitcoin 20,014. Now get this. Quant with the market cap of Bitcoin would be $28,520. You can kind of see how Quant gets to these crazy levels. Again, I understand it's a 295x. Some people have stated that they see this going well past 103,000. I've seen some statements of 200,000. I know it seems crazy. And if you're just watching this for the first time and never you heard of Quant, you may think this is unachievable because of the market cap. I will refer you again back to some of the other videos. It's very well achievable because you shouldn't focus on the market cap. Focus on the utility. That's how we get to this. I'm not the only one who feels this way. Now, last but not least, Quant did drop down in price, and I'm totally fine with that because I'm looking at Quant for the long term. I think Quant eventually will reach some of these monumental levels of market cap and price, well over 100,000 per coin. I truly believe that. Look at the actual circulating supply and look at the utility behind Quant. So again, circulating supply 12,072,738. I came in at Quant at roughly $103. This is buying opportunity for me. Quant is still in the top 50, ranked 43rd, right? And it's just that in itself. I mean, when you see the likes of this, it just, it is so appealing to say the least when you actually look at the bigger picture. So guys, that is it in regards to today's video on Quant. I just wanted to go ahead and report some of those things that I found, because if anything, it's one thing to see something listed and have a definition behind it. It's another thing to see a visual and have it kind of broke down a little bit more. With that said, everybody, thanks for watching today's video on Quant. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And by all means, if you haven't seen the live show, whether it's the Max and Larry show or just Larry by himself for Crypto Talk Now, check it out. We have a daily show. Currently speaking, we just switched to the night show, which is 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday for myself. And then also Larry does his own show on the weekends, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. But nonetheless, guys, every single day, we'd love to provide you a Crypto Talk Now. So thanks again, everybody. You have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next one.